it says we're live. I'm going to give it just a minute because I know there's a delay. I want to just confirm that it pops up on my other screen, and then we'll get all the way started. Let me refresh over here. It's like this whole production scene back here. Okay, is it? Yes. Okay, so we're on, and hopefully I'll be able to see any comments. Okay, and we have students popping on also. All right, so welcome, Shalicia. I'm so excited to have you here. We are on our second episode of the Design to Profit show. I am your host, Amber Crudup, and the creator of Design to Profit, aka DTP, and this show is dedicated to highlighting and spotlighting our Design to Profit students and showcasing their stories. So today we have Shalicia Lovelace Jackson with us, and we're just going to go ahead and dive all the way into a conversation. I have some questions already lined up for you, but I want to start with something that you put in your application when you wanted to be on the show. So something you said was it was to the effect of, why not me? Oh, wait a minute, hold on. Let me remind you. So the name of this episode, let me make sure I don't mess it up. The intersection of being self-taught and knowing your worth. So this conversation, I'm a self-taught designer. Shalicia also is a self-taught designer. So many of our students are. So let me go back because I got ahead of myself. So now, knowing that you are self-taught as well, tell me about that phrase, why not me? That was so powerful. I just want to hear your thoughts around it.
Yes, it's just, I guess, being self-taught, I kind of had imposter syndrome all the way. Mm-hmm. And, because it's like, okay, I know what I'm doing, but it's like, okay, what are other people going to think? Or what are other people, think about what I'm putting out there? Yeah. But then when I see other people that's been doing it for years, I'm like, you can't tell the difference of my work and their work.
Yes.
So it's like, why not me? Why can't I put myself out there and be confident in what I'm doing? Because I know exactly what I'm doing, even though I'm self-taught.
Love that. And it's so wild. We were talking a little bit before we went live, and usually the thought process is, and I'm guilty of this myself, is when an opportunity comes up, especially because self-taught, I definitely self-sabotaged, and I was like, I'm not going to get it anyways. Or, that was the thought process that I always went to. So just the fact that, you have created this reframe for yourself, I love that so much. So, okay, we know you're self-taught. Let's get a little bit more insight about who you are before we dive into to these questions. So you're a teacher, you're self-taught. Give us a little bit of, tell us who Shalicia is.
Okay, so I teach first grade, and a few years ago, back in 2017, I started selling my teacher resources, and immediately I knew I needed a website, but I didn't know exactly where to start. So then I started going on YouTube, trying to figure it out, and so I figured out how to build my website and discovered that I love it. I enjoy doing that. And so I realized there are other entrepreneurs, other educators that are starting their businesses and don't know exactly where to start. So I was like, this would be really good for me to do.
Yeah. And I feel like we all kind of fall in like that. I know my story is definitely similar to yours, where I'm just like, oh, I can do this. Okay. All right. Okay, so you kind of dove in, and actually you're still very new. So when did you start your business?
So I started in 2020, January 2020, because I started DTP the end of April.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so you had been in your business for about a year. Let me just say, I love that you are a teacher and you had educational resources and you wanted to help people like you. Love that. We go way in depth into how to make that like really work for you in
Yes.
creating your own lane. So I just love that you've done that. We cover that in DTP, but just the fact that you came in, and I think even on our onboarding call, I think I remember like just having already made that connection, which was really impressive. So you had started your business 2020, and then January 2020, and then by the end of April 2021, you joined Design to Profit. So let me ask you, between starting your business and joining DTP, like what was the struggle you were having? Why were you even searching for some help in your business?
The struggle, and it was like I was just letting clients, like, I guess I felt like I had to prove myself, and I was just letting clients like I didn't have a process. It was like, okay, cash at me. It was like,
Oh no, you was cash apping.
And then it was like I got on calls like 12 o'clock at night to answer questions that I know that I sent videos for them to watch. Like I had no boundaries. It was like, I just felt like I had to, like I said, like I had to prove myself because I was self-taught, and I was just taking on any and everybody.
Woo, any and everybody. I hear that so much. So we're gonna get into like all the good stuff, but let me ask, do you do that now? Do you take on any and everyone?
No. No.
And how does it feel?
Application. We have to make sure that we are a match. I don't.
Yes. So what's the difference? Like, what is the number one difference in working with any and everyone versus working with a very select, targeted, individual, type of person?
The trust. They trust you and they know your value.
Yes.
They know like it's worth it. I don't have to like offering. It's what they need.
Yes, exactly. The trust, they see your value. So when someone trusts you and they see your value, what then happens?
Say it again. I didn't hear you.
Okay, so when someone trusts you and they see your value, like they understand your value, what happens? Like what does that create?
It just flows. It just flows so much better when we go through the whole process of designing and branding. It just flows so much better.
And they get a result because you've taken them through a process. And then like their investment is it just makes so much sense for them, the way, if you are able to take your client through a process and be the expert, right?
Exactly. Be
the expert instead of, and that's hard. Like that's easier said than done as a self-taught designer, right? Being the expert.
It is.
So tell me about the frustration. How did it feel as you were trying to solve this problem? So pre-DTP, before you came into the community, the content, all of that. Tell me, like, I want to know everything, like the internal battles, the self-talk. What was it like as you tried to figure this thing out?
I didn't know where to start. So it's like I would try something and I would go back to my own ways because I didn't know exactly what I was doing. And one thing that you focus on is the mindset. And like if you do not shift your mindset, then you're gonna go back to, to what you were doing.
And again. Yes. Oh my gosh. And that's what it all boils down to. So when you said in the beginning, we were talking about why not me? How did your mindset, your adjusted, elevated mindset, play a role in that reframe of, why not me?
I think it's the community that you build, Amber. Like when we are on our calls and then you hear all the other ladies, like, just doing so much. It's like, what am I doing? We all gonna win. We all need to win. It's enough room for everybody. So yeah, it's just the community you built that just really motivates me even more to like push myself further.
And that's such a good point. I know, entrepreneurship can be very lonely, especially if like you don't have friends or family who are also entrepreneurs, because you got to think differently. Like someone who has a job just doesn't get it. And it's hard to continue to grow when you don't have support from the outside, because sometimes that internal talk can just get the best of us, right?
Mhm,
So I love that.
mhm, exactly.
Community was huge. Okay, so with searching, can you give me a little bit of insight, like what did your search look like as you kind of were, knowing I need to make a change in my business, I need to figure some things out, I need some help. Like, how did you, I don't even know, how did you even start the search for finding the help?
Well, I actually was in another program, another coaching designing program, but it wasn't nearly as like detailed as yours, you know.
Okay.
And I ended up purchasing one of your programs before.
Oh, it was probably
Design.
Profit Ready Workshop.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's what it was. So yeah, and she has so much value in this. Like I know I can't imagine like how much value would be in DTP. So
Yes. Oh my gosh, for $27, like Profit Ready is insane value. Okay, so you purchased Profit
Mhm.
Ready, which is to help you price and package and sell your services. So tell me
Mhm.
about that struggle, like being self-taught. Where did we, if you don't have to share if you don't want to, but like if you want to tell
I'm
us
gonna
where you
share.
started.
I'm gonna share. I my full website design was $200. $200, Amber.
Woo!
And
Listen.
this was me like just revising as much as they needed, and just because I felt like I just had to prove myself. I had to get those receipts of people like showing that I'm like able to do this. So
Mm.
it was just and yeah.
Okay, so you had found another program. What do you think, like what were you still missing after having taken another program? And that was actually my next question, so that was a great
Yeah.
segue.
It was I keep going back to the community. It's the community, Amber. You
I
know,
love that so much.
it was like I would go to some of the meetings when I could, but then it wasn't as like supportive, or wasn't like motivating as like yours are.
Mm,
So
got you. So community really does matter. What is it about? So did the other program have a community as well, or no?
yes, it did, but it wasn't. I'm trying to think, it wasn't Black women. I
Mm.
think that's a lot. We see a lot of
There wasn't
looking
like
like
there was that connection piece.
connection that we yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I get that. And it's so, another DTP student mentioned the same exact thing, just being in a space where people are like you, and we have a range, but just to be in a
Hmm.
room where you're not the only one that looks like you, that matters.
Exactly.
That matters
Exactly. It
a lot.
matters.
Yeah,
It
I love that.
matters.
Okay, so you needed a community to, what were you looking for a community for? Like, what was that desire that, that you were kind of lacking, or like it just didn't hit the spot in that other program?
I also felt like the mindset, because my mindset was not it didn't shift yet until I got into your program, because
Mm,
that's what you focus on first.
right.
Hmm.
Um, okay, so the mindset is huge. Then when you couple that with a community full of other, designers who are like you, working towards the same thing, it really
Hmm.
does just foster this environment of, like, you can't help but grow.
Exactly. That's exactly.
That is super powerful. I love that. Okay, so you found DTP. That was the end of April. Can you recall, like, can you take me to the moment, especially having already invested in a coaching program? Can you take me to the moment
Mhm.
where you realized DTP was actually working for you?
When I received a DM from an idea client, an educator consultant, and she said doing one of her coaching calls, they spent like 10 minutes talking about me, talking about like, because they were like my clients, my previous clients was like taking her coaching
Okay.
classes, and they spent like 10 minutes talking about like my process, my my onboarding, like everything that you taught me. So, and she was like, and I want you to work with you. So that was one thing.
Yes,
And
that's
then
huge though. So
and
number one, oh wait a minute, I think it's breaking up a little bit. Okay, so number one, okay, so your previous client was essentially selling your services for you, essentially.
yeah,
And
exactly.
but like let's note that it was actually for the right reason. It wasn't because, oh yeah, she gonna give you a deal, or oh yeah, she gonna, you can do as many revisions. She'll work with you till you get it right. Like it wasn't that. It was,
I was done with that. Yeah.
but like to be referred for the right reason is so huge, so huge. I think we keep freezing. I think my kids are taking up some of the bandwidth. They got home early today. Can you still hear me? Let me see. Uh-oh, it says waiting for live signal. Uh-oh. Okay, I think
Okay.
we
I don't
have
know
some
what
internet.
happened. Bad
That was
connection.
me. That was me. My internet
Okay.
is horrible. It is so bad.
Okay.
Okay, so we're back. We'll clip that part out.
Okay.
Alrighty. So you took me to the moment where you realized it was working. You were being referred for the right reasons, for your process, for the result, for like the real stuff people should be hiring you with. So, like the real reason people should be hiring you. Oh, hold on. So, also, tell me about when you sent out your first 4-figure invoice.
Yes, I was waiting on like an email like with questions.
Mm-hmm.
It was paid in full.
She paid in full. I don't even think you told me that. You didn't tell me she paid in
No, I
full.
didn't see that.
Listen, we holding back details. Holding back the tea. Don't do that. You gotta tell me. Yes. Paid in full. Okay. Was that your first? Like, well, I mean, I guess if you were charging $200 before, I hope they paid you in full. Did they pay you in
Yeah,
full?
they paid me in full. But
Okay,
I mean,
okay.
yeah, they paid me in full. But I wasn't expecting like the four figures. I was like, okay, here the payment plan. Nope.
And they were like, yes. How does that feel to one, have a client refer you for the right reasons, and then two, for that client, for that potential client, the person being referred to be like, I want you, and for them to pay you in full immediately. How does that feel?
Yes, it goes back to why not me? It goes back to that. Like, yes, I can do
I
this.
love
So
that. Why not me? Like, we need a shirt that says that, because we get in our head, we get in our own way, and we are the ones holding ourselves back. And with
exactly.
a simple reframe, like you've done, successfully reframed this imposter syndrome, self doubt,
Mhm.
self sabotage, all from really mindsets. This is mindset stuff. It had nothing to do with design. It had nothing to do
It
with
is.
you learning more skills, because I don't teach design skills. It's you. It came from you. Like I love that so much.
Yes.
Okay. So we've sent 4-figure invoices. We've gotten paid in full. Like people are seeing your value. What
Exactly.
how does life, and let's see, it hasn't, okay, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January. Yeah, so what is
Mhm.
that? In like less than 9 months, how
Mhm.
does it feel to have like this whole other perspective? Like what does life look like now since you've addressed those mindset issues?
I don't have to go chase clients. They come to me. I feel like they're drawn to me. They are because I feel like
Yes.
before I'm trying to make a deal, trying to search things.
You playing let's make a deal with your business. Guilty. I have done that before.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what though? Like when we do that, when we negotiate our prices and when we make a deal, the only thing it's doing is hurting us, right? It's not helping the client, and it's us operating out of a scarcity lack
Yep.
mindset. And so when that's where you're at, you're never gonna grow. Therefore, like the mindset is essential. It cannot be bypassed. Like it
Exactly.
cannot be bypassed. You cannot fake an elevated mindset. You
Mm-hmm.
can't do it.
Yeah.
So I just want to just kind of hear like how things are different for you now. How has, the last 9 months like just not only impacted your business, but also your life?
Like I said, with shifting my mindset, I just know like whatever I speak is gonna come to me. Like I have to speak positive. I have to, think positive about everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so with this, like, how has that, and obviously, like, positivity is not just business,
Mhm.
that's life.
Yeah.
So, can you give us like an example of something that is now different because of this, newfound mindset that you have?
I think when it comes to, like I said earlier, with clients coming to me and me not searching for them, it's like I do what I have to do on my end,
Mm-hmm.
and that's that. Like,
I just love the calmness that you said it with. It's like, and that's that. Like, it just is what it is.
hmm
It's like, it's not emotion, it's business, right?
Yeah. hmm
And that makes business so much easier when you can take the emotion out of it and really operate. We have something in DTP called, data over drama, where we look at our numbers. We don't just go to the
Uh-huh.
emotion because the emotion will set you up. It'll have you all up
For
in your
real.
feelings, ready to cut your prices in half, go chasing all these clients who are not a good fit. So, like, I'm just so excited just to know in a short amount of time this shift. And I can't remember who I was having a conversation with, but I was like, I would take a mindset shift over money any day. Any day, because I know that with
Yes.
a mindset shift, I can make money.
It's
I,
coming. Yes.
you know,
Money's coming. Uh-huh.
I love this so much for you. Like you're radiating, you're smiling from ear to ear. That says so much. I feel your happiness just in general. In general. How does it feel to just like have this, like you could almost have a new life?
Yeah, it feels amazing. Like I said, like before, I just felt like I had to prove myself. I don't have to prove myself to
Mm,
nobody. It's
yeah,
like either we're fit or we're not fit.
we're not. I love that so much. Okay, so we're coming up on just about on our time. So I did want to
Mhm.
just ask. So we will probably have some time for Q&A with our prep school students. But as you know, like our prep school students are now in the process of preparing to get to that next level of design to
Mhm.
profit, DTP, which is where you are. So I would just ask, anyone who is in prep school, because prep school, they're working on foundational stuff, it's a lot of the same stuff. We just go a lot deeper in DTP. What advice can you give to someone in prep school who maybe is like you, who's self-taught and, has that had the imposter syndrome that was like kicking in and all of that. What is your advice to them to kick the imposter syndrome?
I would say you need to join DTP ASAP because if you continue to do it on your own, you're going to continue to play small. Like I
Mm.
just, I
Woo!
mean, that's it. I feel like when I first joined, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to pay for DTP, but Amber, what you teach in the program, it's going to pay for itself
Pays
and
for
more.
itself.
So,
That's the thing. Like, it's a big investment. I get that.
Mhm.
And I don't take
Yeah.
it lightly. However, the strategies in there, if you can
Yep.
get in, the strategies are going to help you to pay for it. And that's how, like, that's literally the way I created DTP, is I want your clients to be able to pay for this investment.
Yep.
That is
If
my
they should,
goal.
yeah.
That is my goal for every student. And I love that you just, like you said, if you can get in there, if you can make that first payment, we have, a 30-day on ramp where students are getting their first client. On average, it's about 45 days that they're landing their first highest paid client ever. So I just love that piece of advice that you shared. Let's see, we have about 4 minutes left in prep school. Are there any questions? So I see Nikita, she was like, this is good, y'all. Nicholas, he said paid in full.
Yes.
Nikita, oh my gosh, she took the words right out of my mouth. Nikita says, I want to smile like you.
Oh,
Oh my gosh. Like,
thank
I
you.
got chill bumps. That's beautiful. Okay. I don't see any questions in the group. Let me just click one more time, make sure I don't miss anything. Refresh. But I feel like we talked about so much. I don't even know what questions there would be. Yeah, there's no questions. So we'll go ahead and end here. I did want to just say thank you so much, Alicia, for taking your time to share your story. But not only just that, for one, believing in yourself, for believing in the program, and for doing the work and for getting results. Before we close up, I would love for you to just share where people can find you if they want to, continue to follow along your journey and your story. Where can they find you?
Yes, my IG handle is @DN9Co.
Yes. Okay, Deanne. It broke up. Can you say it one more time?
Oh, @DN Design Co.
Deanne Design Co. Okay, perfect. And we'll link that. We'll link it as well. It broke out just as you were saying it.
Okay.
So AT&T be playing with me over here with this internet. So I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I'm so proud of you. I'm just super excited to see, what the next couple of months bring for you as, you continue through the program and just all the good things that are on its way just because of a simple change that you've made in your mindset.
Exactly. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We will see you guys next time on the Design to Profit show. Thank you so much. Bye, guys.
Bye.